Okay, nice. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh and a very good morning. Welcome to our 25th session of webinar series Captain of Industry, brought to you by Faculty of Engineering UTM Johor Bahru. We are initiating university industry collaboration during Recovery Movement Control Order, RMCO, to have a platform with our Captain of Industry to share their thoughts, way forward, and challenges during post-COVID-19. Now we are streaming live from Facebook, Faculty of Engineering UTM. Today we would like to welcome Mr. Ray Leung, Director, Commercial Development and PMO Global Center of Excellence, DHL, Customer Solutions and Innovation, with his interesting topic today, entitled Overview of Commercial Drone Industry. And thank you so much for Mr. Ray for accepting our invitation, and it's our privilege to have you with us today. Without further ado, I would like to invite Yang Berusaha Professor Dato Engineer Dr. Muhammad Rafiq Dr. Abdul Kadir, Dean Faculty of Engineering, to introduce our captain today. Over to you, Dato.
Thank you, Murni. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome everyone to our 25th series of UTM Engineering Captain of Industry. My name is Muhammad Rafiq and I am the Dean of Engineering, University Technology Malaysia. Today it is my utmost pleasure to welcome Mr. Ray Leung to our program. A bit about
Thank you very much.
Ray Leung is currently the Director, Commercial Development and PMO Global Center of Excellence, Iskandar Malaysia DHL, Customer Solutions and Innovation. Ray spent a third of his career acquiring and refining the skill set to develop logistics optimization solutions. These solutions have successfully supported the achievement of business development and continuous improvement objectives in various parts of DHL. Ray later transitioned into the roles of commercial operations and consulting, assisting a DHL team to expand and achieve stellar growth rates. In Martin Brower, the largest distribution partner of McDonald's restaurants globally, he led various initiatives, including operational excellence and special projects, which contributed strategic values to the McDonald's systems in terms of performance management, capability development, and risk management. His latest career is focused on innovation development, driving and managing new products such as international freight marketplace and a drone and robotics hub for international markets. Throughout his career, he has demonstrated his consistent competency in project management, product development, problem solving, and stakeholder management, which added values to both commercial and operational environments in the organizations that he served. Mr. Ray Leung obtained his MSc in Industrial and Systems Engineering and BSc in Aeronautical and Astronautical from the Ohio State University, US. So that is a brief biography of our speaker. Here now is Mr. Ray Leung to give a talk entitled Overview of Commercial Drone Industry. Mr. Ray Leung, over to you.
Thank you very much, Professor Rafiq. I'm going to share my screen. Just give me a second so that I can go through this topic with you today. Thank you very much for inviting me. It is really exciting occasion. Too bad I cannot be here with you physically, but we can now. Everything is online. We can take advantage of this technology. So I just want to have a disclaimer. So Professor Rafiq said that I had a master's of engineering and also a bachelor in aeronautical engineering, but please don't ask me any technical questions because I pretty much forget a lot of technical details. It is a great education at Ohio State. It shaped my thinking, helped me to prepare my analytical journey in my many parts of my career. But I will leave all the professors and your professors to answer all the technical questions. How about that? Okay. So today the topic is about drone industry. Okay. Many of you have seen amazing video footage on YouTube, and some of you may have flown your own drones, have your own drones and flown. Why we talk about this industry now? Obviously, it has a lot of use cases being used in for recreational purposes, and also for filming industry and photography industry. But what can it be done? What are the other usages in other parts of industries and the commercial world? I just want to let you know there are a lot of exciting things going on in the world of drone, globally as well as within Malaysia. And there's something very exciting coming up at the backyard in Johor. So I will share all this today. But before we go on, I just want to show you a topic. Yesterday, I came across this article in LinkedIn. It talks about the most discussed tech topics pre and post COVID-19. So BCG is a very prominent consulting firm. They monitor 150,000 articles online through media, and look at what the leaders are talking about. And of course, robotics, blockchain, business insights, and all these are very hot topics pre-COVID. And drone delivery is number 10. Now, after COVID-19, you see that the ranking has gone up to number 4. Now, this is only one illustration how drone is impacting the industry and also the society, because delivery is only one application. And there are many others that I will show you later on today, later on. So today I'll section my discussion in 3 or 4 topics. One, to give you a overview of the industry, to see what does it look like globally, what are the key segments, the key technology and use cases. And then we're going to zoom into Malaysia and tell you more about what's going on here recently. And as I said, there are a lot of interesting things happening, exciting things happening. And then also how we spend a few minutes at the end to see how you can prepare yourself for the drone industry, the coming excitement in as a career builder. And then we can spend about 10-15 minutes in Q&A. Okay, drone industry overview. I'll give you a global view of the potential of drone. Now, it is on the left-hand side, you can see that the current annual span in the market is about 16 billion USD. Now, it's not huge. It's not. It sounds big, but actually, it's not. It is still not a very huge industry, but the growth rate is spectacular. It has about 33% CAGR, which is compounded annual growth rate. So in about 3 years, the industry will be more than double, 2.5 times size. And it is still, as I said, it is still at the infancy, because there are a lot of things that need to be done, and need to be done, and it needs cooperation from various parts of the world. Regulators are the ones, our authority and regulators are the ones that will be the most needed. So another part of this industry is that you can see the chart on the bar chart below. Consumer industry is 24% of the total. Now, consumer is the one that you may be most familiar with, the DJI drones that been flying around, or you have one. That's the part that is being most visible to people. Okay, and there are actually, besides DJI has definitely a huge market share. There are many other companies that have, many others that have developed specialized drones. And apart from that, 24%, 51% of the drone being used are in the military. Now, obviously, it can be for both offense and defense. So this is not the part that we're going to talk about today, because military always have their own control and spend. The part that we will talk and focus on is the commercial part, the industrial, the commercial usage. Now, today is only 25%. And I believe that a lot of growth is going to come from there in the next 10, 15 years. And in terms of geography, you can see that North America and Europe have been, and Asia, they're all very big markets for this. North America has started first, and then also Europe started first. They have so there are a lot of players are there. It's quite much more advanced in terms of the whole ecosystem than Asia. Asia, the shining star is of course China. China has a lot. I mean, DJI is from China, and the Yihan is from China. They are many of the companies are leading a lot of effort in developing the product, as well as working with the society, the regulators to roll out their solutions. So China is a very big market. Japan is big as well. And also this coming into Southeast Asia. Our neighbor, about where I'm here right now, I'm here in Singapore. The Singapore government is looking into a lot of drone usages, and you may have, if you pay attention, there are a lot of news that have been released in the last half a year about what the government is doing. Even in Africa, actually later on I'll show you one use cases DHL has used in Africa. In Africa, government like Rwanda are very, very interested in using drone. So I'll let you know how it goes in the next slide. See why it is so interesting and so exciting. Now, this is the use case. There are many different use cases in different sectors of the business. So if you look into just the middle part, okay, you can see agriculture, you can see disaster management, energy, and oil and gas. Those are big industry that have been actually one of the early adopters of the technology. Security, you've seen what's happening in China and even Malaysia. How does it use for public security? And of course, deviating from DHL, we cannot not talk about transportation and logistics. So yeah, and within all these industries, there are many different interesting usage of drones. Now, I just want to go through a few examples, and these examples are actually very applicable in Malaysia. Okay, for example, agriculture. Now you can see the little drone here on the left-hand side. It is a drone spraying some kind of fertilizer or some insecticides to the crops. So of course, it will save a lot of time, right? Because drones can cover a wide area for the paddy fields, for palm plantation, for example, and it can also be deployed in different times of the day. It doesn't have to be in the daytime, which may not be the best time to spray. And compared to using sort of manpower and traditional labor, right? So what's happening in Malaysia is that traditionally a lot of farms and plantations using foreign labor to do that, but now with COVID-19, of course, with the economy, government wants to scale back the usage of foreign labor, and actually it's pretty difficult to get foreign labor for a lot of plantations and farms. So technology is coming to save the day. You don't need so many people. They can actually replace all the people. So it's not just labor savings, it's better precision, better application in different times of the day or night. Because sometimes it's better to spray certain insecticides at night because the bug comes out at night. And also, it can be so precise that it will reduce the usage of the fertilizer, for example, because some companies I know in Malaysia, they develop this AI solution and detect exactly what's the center of the tree, or the palm tree. So the drone flies on top of the palm trees. They'll look into the palm, look at the shape, analyze it, and see where is the exact spot they should spray. Now, what's the advantage of this is to reduce the wastage. Because normally people just keep on spraying along the row of all the palms, and what happens to the gaps there between the trees? They should stop. So this technology, this AI technology, helps them to reduce the usage of those unnecessary spraying. In the construction industry, You can see a little picture below the agriculture drone. In the construction industry, it's a lot of usage as well. Okay, of course, for maintenance work, right? I mean, it's hard for the guys to climb up to the roof to see what's happening, and also for the building construction, building industry, when they have to monitor the progress of the construction, the drones can fly around. They cover a lot of areas, analyze okay, shoot video footage and photographs, and compile a 2D or even 3D model. So some of them can cover what satellite cannot, or may have some deficiency in some of the satellite images, because here in this part of the world there are a lot of clouds, so satellites always can be blocked by clouds. So drones can do a much more detailed analysis, and of course you'll be able to shoot better footage under the cloud. So construction it can be used for a lot of progress monitoring. You can see the little guy below. Of course, we don't have to mention a lot about drone swarm shows. During the new year, a lot of shows are happening, and it's very, very interesting. It can be indoor, it can be outdoor. For the entertainment industry, this is quite interesting development. On the right hand side, in the energy sector, drone, of course, now you can gather that it is very good for application that needs to look at a large area, right? So in the energy sector, I know that in Sabah and Sarawak there are a long pipeline for oil and gas to transmit from one place to another, a few hundred kilometers sometimes. And how traditionally they get the people to go and drive from one place to another. Some of the terrains can be pretty difficult, but with drone, you just cut through and follow the pipeline very easily, and be able to see how what are the areas that need to be maintained or repaired. For security purposes, you know that in China, they during the COVID-19, a lot of they were using drone to monitor people movement, and also even taking some temperature. And in Malaysia, actually, they deploy in certain areas where they can use drone to do some crowd control. Now, transportation logistics, this is an exciting area, because you see the little drone here with the DHL logo. Now, this is a drone it was deployed in Tanzania. Tanzania, there's a little near Lake Victoria. There's an island. If you want to go to that island, deliver some emergency medicine, it takes 6 hours for the truck to go into there, or 3 hours by ferry. It's either way, it's very long. So with drone, you can get there in less than half an hour. Preserve the temperature requirements, and be able to deliver the drug that the patients require. And also, it can also take that blood samples to the hospitals in the main area. And not just for delivery, for healthcare sector. I know that there are Food Panda just announced in Singapore they're doing some kind of food deliveries, and actually in China there are multiple players trying to do food delivery as well. Now, also in the transportation logistics sector, drone can also be used indoor as well. You see the last picture on the right hand side. There's a drone flying within the warehouse. What is it for? It is for the drone to check the inventory. Now, there's always discrepancies between the actual product being stored and our electronics record. So once in a while, the warehouse associates will need to walk through the warehouse and count every single pallet, count every single product. And so warehouse can be pretty tall, right? So then the rack can be pretty tall. So they have to get a forklift to get up there and count and see up close and personal. With a drone, you can just program it. The drone can scan every single pallet with a predefined pattern, and capture and scan and confirm what the products are in the warehouse. So these are just a I would say probably half of the use cases that I have come across with that I can talk to you right now, because I can spend another 10, 15 minutes talking to you more about that. But I think you get the feel. I think that the rest of the things you can feel, you can find it in util and the web. Okay, so let's move on. Now you have seen different kind of drones that's being used. The most prominent or prevalent is the one that's multi-rotor. Right now, I'm talking a little bit of technology here, because you're in engineering school, right? I cannot get away with that. Okay, so the multi-rotors are very good for slow and steady usage, flight usage for flight purposes, because it's very steady, and it can be used for mapping, for data collection, so it is a very easy to control and it's low cost. So most of the applications are using this kind of drone, but unfortunately, multi-rotor is not very efficient. So to cover a large area, like the one that we talk about in Tanzania, we want also not in Tanzania. Actually, in Rwanda, actually they will use a fixed wing. A fixed wings, just like airplane, normal airplane. It will just fly. And of course, when it lands, okay, you can launch with the runway, or you can launch just tossing into the air. But when it lands, of course, you need some kind of space, and it can. The good thing, it is very efficient. It can cover aerodynamically. It can cover a long range. So one company is actually doing drug delivery using this. They can cover 50 kilometers in one go. Single rotor, like the little helicopter there, it is also very efficient. Unfortunately, it is more expensive because it is a little bit more complicated, but very good with higher payload, the heavy equipment, such as camera, high-end camera or photography. So it uses it's being used extensively in the filming and the media in entertainment industry. The hybrid VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing, it is one of the it combines the benefits of multi-rotor and the fixed wing. So either the wings can tilt or the rotors can tilt for takeoff and cruising position. Of course, the last one is lighter than air, which is not very common, but it is sometimes good for video footage as well. So all these drones can be paired with different kind of sensors to do different kind of missions, and not just sensors. I would say different payloads. So sensor can be electro-optical. It is, and we can put a 4K camera up there to shoot, and can do a electro-optical. Can also do near infrared, or for some thermal sensing, infrared is great. LiDAR uses I think LiDAR uses the laser. I think this is the one being used extensively in autonomous vehicle. So you can sense the 360 surrounding, and also give you a very good accurate picture of the 3D image. So as I mentioned, automotive industry, autonomous vehicles are using quite a lot that technology. That's why it brings the price, the cost down dramatically. And then multi or hyperspectral sensor is great to measure the reflectance of light of the substance. So it depends on how much the object you're analyzing reflects or absorb the light. It is good for using for the agriculture industry, and it can actually detect the health of the plant, the soil condition, and the quality of water. And so it is quite amazing. And of course, for delivery, you can always put something like a box to put your content in there, or for even rescue purposes, or you can put a inflatable device in there, drops into the water and save people. So it depends on what payload and sensor type you want to pair up with to suit your mission. That's why drone is very versatile. Okay, it depends on how you pair up, depends on mission. You can just swap and change. and go on to finish your job. Now, drone, when I talk about drone industry, there is more than just a drone itself. Now, there are passenger drones. Exciting to see that. I'm sure it's going to come up one day. Actually, it's in the work right now. And there are counter drones and UTM. I'll explain all this, but just talk about drone and you look at the the horizontal line. Drone itself is not just a hardware. Hardware, of course, you got this platform, you got the rotor, you got the flight controller, and all this thing, right? All the GPS, GNSS, and all the systems all together. So designing the hardware is important, right? Fitting all together, integrating them is important. Software is also important as well, because all the drones are out there to do what? Most of the drones right now are doing data collection or video collection, right? After that, someone has to process it, someone has to analyze it, someone has to put together in a model or software that people can visualize, can understand, can take advantage of. So the whole processing and modeling and presentation area is what the software is all about. And also, of course, there are more and more autonomous usage of drones in the future, right? Because right now they always need a person to fly and guide the drone, but in the future, I'm sure it's going to be autonomous. So how to develop that, the AI part, it's going to come into play. Services are something like training, for example, for insurance purposes. So just in the drone segment, there are already a lot of things that can happen. Now on the hardware, on the passenger drones, I can imagine, say I mentioned Yihan is one of the companies in China developing passenger drone. And so right now they're solely focusing on the hardware. I'm sure there are a lot of things going on, but this is going to be one interesting thing that will come up. The other part is the counter drone. Now, I mentioned that military drone can be have a lot of usages, right? And there are, some of them can be for offense and defensive purposes. Now, there are also usage to counter some of these drones too, because not just for the military ones, but for just normal one, right? You don't want people to come near a certain sensitive area to disturb the activities, airport, normal port, palaces, or even near your home, right? There's so counter drone technologies are being developed to sort of restrain or sometimes defeat the activities of drones. Now UTM, what's UTM? Not the university. It is the unmanned traffic management. Okay, it is just imagine all drones are flying around now. 10 years later, all drones flying around. Who's going to have control of them? Who's going to make sure they don't collide with one another? Who make sure that they all of these guys are qualified to fly and the drones are up to the specs? So the UTM basically is this management. It can be a combination of process and people and technology. Is to monitor all the activities in the air, just like having a control tower in the airport. Except nowadays, your airport can be anywhere in the city, right? So some companies call themselves intra-city airline. So in the future, there will be a lot of drones. It may not be just collecting data, it can be delivering, it can be even flying people around. So this is why I think the drone industry is very, very exciting, because we are now touching just the tip of the iceberg, and there are so many things that needs to be done and can be done in the future. Now, I just noticed that I already spent about 25 minutes of my time. I will go through the next few things quite quickly. Because a lot of things are happening in Malaysia, as I mentioned, right? Globally, you just get an idea, and now we're focusing on Malaysia. Malaysia, the government has been very supportive, and private sectors are stepping up to help as well. Now you see that MDEC is one of the partners that we work with. DHL works with, because we are going to tell you a little bit more about the project we are working on. The MDEC is one very big supporter. They work with World Economic Forum to promote Malaysia being the destination for drone development. MOSTI has been it's been very supportive. Last month, they just announced a huge grant, 100 million ringgit, to assist different technologies to mature, to deploy, to cross over to the commercialization journey. Because there are a lot of technologies being developed, but sometimes looking for customer, looking for fund to develop to mature the technology for the customer is limited. So mostly it's come up this 100 million grant to support different industry, and drone is one of them. And of course, on the private sector side, one of the biggest and most noticeable company in the world is actually started in Malaysia. Aerodyne, they started in KL about, I think, 6-7 years ago. Now it's definitely one of the top 10s in terms of the funding, in terms of the direction to go, in terms of the size. And there are also, of course, many different ones like Forfang and Polar Drone. They're getting a lot of attention in the media as well. So these are very young companies. They are not very big, as I mentioned. Look at the size of the industry. They're still not very big, but there are a lot of potential, and a lot of young people, actually young and old. A lot of young, mostly younger entrepreneurs are looking into making it happen. So from the regulator side, right? Earlier I mentioned regulation is a key component of this drone ecosystem. Why? Is because someone has to sort of draw up the lane, the flight paths in the air, right? Someone has to control it, otherwise it will just end up in disaster. So CAAM, Civil Aviation Authority of Malaysia, have announced the framework just last month. So they are going to adopt the European standard and use it in Malaysia. So there are more details coming up, but it is generally a very, very interesting, very good development, because before that, there are controls, but there are also no requirement for certification, for example, for people flying drones. Small drones in a small area doesn't cause a lot of damage, but if you are flying drones carrying bigger things and heavier things in populated areas, that can be a bit dangerous. Of course, there are rules, and currently there are rules and regulations governing that, but there are still but moving toward the European standard, it gives it elevates the sort of the direction, the goal and the vision of Malaysia together with to the standard of the West. And there are a lot of exciting things going on. They're going to use the next 2 years to look into the technology and the regulation side. Okay, as I mentioned that there's something very exciting coming up in Malaysia and in Johor, right at the backyard. Now, the customers that the one customer that DHL is working with is called Iskandar Investment Berhad. They are in the middle of setting up this drone and robotic zone, DRZ, in Iskandar. So it is going to be a growth engine, a technology center, and a talent hub for drone and robotic industry. Okay, and this is an ecosystem. Inside there are multiple things going on. Right? You have a school, a talent development, just focus on these two areas, and can have a place. We can use the Studio City, Education City Stadium, and the studio to host different kind of events and conference, and the flight zone. Right, I'll show you later in a picture of how we're going to tackle this flight zone. It's going to be a very key part of this ecosystem, because drone, some of them they need to be tested, especially for the newer configurations, and some of them need to be certified, and some of them they need to use some kind of some area to demonstrate to their customers what they can do. So this flight zone is going to be the key centerpiece of what we're going to do. And of course, there are workspace available, and we're going to look into some kind of make repair lab in the Madini area, and we're actively working with Sunway to set up a free commercial zone, so that the companies inside there can take advantage of the free trade agreement with different parts of the world, and be able to save on a lot of import and export taxes. So as I said, this is only half an hour away from UTM. So we really hope that you continue to stay abreast of, stay on top of this development, and see what kind of things that you can do after this. Okay, as I mentioned, this is the test site. We want to go for a very large area, 500 acre, that can demonstrate urban or suburban delivery, because a lot of drones are being tested in a very sparse area, very remote areas. But at the end of the day, if you want to have intra-city airline, intra-city delivery, has to fly within the urban and suburban setting. So we want this test site to be the first part in the world to allow that. And then of course within this site, there are also smaller ones for that people can fly visual line of sight. The VLOS is VLOS, visual line of sight, or BVLOS on the left hand side, beyond visual line of sight. So there are the two main sort of terminology that you will hear people talk about in the drone industry. Okay, that comes to our last part. Good career in drone industry. Now, as I mentioned, now you can gather drone can do a lot of things, from entertainment, from engineering, from mapping, from healthcare and life and rescue, rescue purposes. So there are so many things. You can look into hardware, and you're looking into AI, you're looking into the software side. So this is a matrix that I asked our friends from MDEC to send me, just to illustrate what kind of combinations that you can. Like, you're in engineering school, but I don't think you need to be bounded just within the engineering discipline. Right, some of you can be very, very creative, and I think some of the best artists, right, some of the best artists for the drone swarm show, they're engineers, but they got also a creativity side, and you cannot work. You have to have both in order to make things work. Engineers will even make things very boring and no use, right? So, but there are a lot of things that you can look into. Of course, if you're good at hardware skill, you may want to look into data analytics and also the software side as well. So there's a lot of technical skills that you can develop. But of course, being in a new industry, and I was with DHL, and I've been back to DHL. I've been DHL for a long time, but in between, I also spent some time with a startup. So there are a lot of soft skills that you can prepare yourself for. Being in a startup industry or a high growth industry, you have to really dream big, but you have to act very small. You have to look into exact small steps of planning and how do you fulfill your dream, for example. And then you have to always have to listen to your customers. Not every customer is right, but you have to listen to what their concerns are and what their pain points are, and then how your solution is going to address this pain points and concerns. And solving a technical problem is important, but solving a business problem, sorry, my spelling, my business problem is also important. Because at the end of the day, people buy a business solution. The technical, if you string yourself just to do technical sales, it's not enough. They want to buy solutions. They want to find a partner for all sorts of their problems, to solve their problems. So position yourself as a partner to them instead of as a provider or vendor. communication is very important. You have the best idea, and you cannot communicate and convince people how good your solution is. It's no use. So communicating to your customer, communicating to your staff, the people around you, very clearly is a very, very important skill. Keep learning, of course, because this industry is going to, I really don't know. In 5 years or 10 years time, I think the few areas still going to develop, but how big can they be? I don't know. So you just have to keep learning. Of course, keeping yourself in, having integrity is important in this area, because one of the things I'm a bit sad in the past 2-3 years is see how many startups they end up chasing the money and sacrifice integrity, end up hurting themselves and hurting the shareholders and hurting the family and other people as well. So I think these are the key things. I'm sure there are a lot of other things that you can think of, and I look forward to hearing from you. So right now I just pause and see. And sorry, the next one is questions. And welcome any questions. Oh, comments. Sorry, when I'm doing the presentation, I couldn't see all the comments, but I'm just scrolling now. Let's see. Hello, hi. Okay, any questions? Okay, so do we have to acquire a license to operate one in our own backyard? So there are regulations according to this. Now there are in Malaysia, I think you have to at least 50 meters away from people, and 150 meters away from main residential area, for example. So in your own backyard, of course, right now it's probably a bit tricky, but with the newer regulations, when it is finalized, I believe there's some categories that you don't have to. So stay tuned. The best way is to, then there are actually current regulations still stand true, so you can actually look it up in the CAAM website, but it will be changed. I would say in probably the next 6 months and 1 year. So that could be more relaxed. So I think Professor Shaimi asked me how general people who have interest in drones to get involved with Iskander drone robotic zone activities. Yes, so it is great. It is a good question. Now we are actually we're going to roll out to do. Now it's still not sort of heavily publicized yet. We have talked to a few important partners and government officials. And the next phase, I think in September, there will be more announcement from the state of Johor, right? And together with our company, with our customers. So I think from that point on, you will see clearly, clear how you can be involved. But I think from university perspective, I think we should start talking about how students can support our future drone tech players or that who are coming into Iskander zone. Because what we want them to do is to set up the design center, can be research center, can be hook up with different kind of users, commercial or industrial users within Johor. So we hope that some of the projects will mushroom, right? So that it gives opportunity for students or researchers or people like you to be involved in doing special projects, in doing short-term projects, and maybe some of the people who are more knowledgeable about certain part of some technical they have some technical expertise in certain area. They can be a consultant, for example. Now, so this can be something that we can think about from university student perspective. The other part is that we may want to open this up to not just for commercial testing, industrial testing, but for recreational usage as well. So we hope that there will be events like drone racing event. If you search drone racing event, there are quite a bit of going on before the COVID-19, and we hope to host some of this in the drone robotic city in the DRZ, and probably even have something that can impact the community once in a while. They can have some kind of drone show and things like that. So we still these are all in our on the drawing board, and but if you have any good suggestions, we'd like to hear it. So someone mentioned about okay, how can data scientists play his role in drone industry? Data scientists, okay. I myself not too familiar with that part, but I know that within our DHL Innovation Center, we have a team called Advanced or Applied Analytics. So they look at a lot of data. They look into mainly the logistics data. Now, for drone industry, I think the data is a bit specialized, a little bit more geospatial, a little bit more industry specific. Some of them they're analyzing. So it depends on the use case. So, for example, for mapping data, right? Mapping, they look into the infrastructure like the road and the dam, and maybe water level in different parts of the geography. So, and each one of them has their own specific requirements. So I think mapping is one, right? As I mentioned earlier, there are agricultural usage, right? So now, how do they use the data? They're very specific. Construction industries as well, right? Pipeline industries, and so in terms of data, I would say that it will be a bit more industry specific. And so as a data scientist, we may want to look into these few disciplines and see how what are the specific needs and requirements in that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ray, for your interesting topic today about drone activity, drone industry. All right, then we have a coming, and also you are already response to some of our questions today. All right, this is from Abdurrahman Faraj. Sir, do you provide an opportunity for students who are currently working on drones, avionics, and LoRa drones transponders system?
Wow, this is very specific. LoRa drone, I don't even know what's LoRa drone transponder systems. I guess some kind of transponders. I guess I said yes, but I cannot say it's for definite what kind of opportunities, because I think it depends on the companies that are coming into the DRZ. So our timeline is this: we haven't opened yet. We're still in the development stage, but we plan to open next year. So by that time, you will see more and more drone and robotics company coming in, set up their operations, and use our testing facilities. I think by that time, there will be more activities to link you up from either students or faculties to with the industry players, either they are the technology developers or users, to understand how all these things can be done. Can enhance one another, can help one another. So I would say there are definite opportunities when people are when we start the operation, and just we need to wait a little bit. But I think some of this actually can even be started before we start, maybe later this year as well. So I would say the best thing is we can start communication in with UTM and Professor Shahaimi and faculty and other faculties as well. And we will also tell you a little bit more about marketing and communication campaign in the coming couple months, so that you know there is going to be a website, there's going to be a Facebook page where you can go and find out more information. So all these things are in the works. Just give it a little bit more time to finalize it.
Okay. Thank you again, Mr. Ray. And this is for another question. Hi, Mr. Ray. Is there any risk for public when the drone is operating?
Well, when you say if you're statisticians, there's always risks, right? Even if you have 6 sigma, 7 sigma, always there's little chance that happens. Of course, our job is to I think the regulator, I mean, many people's job is to minimize that. So the regulator, that's the primary concern for the regulators, for CAM and other guys. That's why you get this 50 meters, 150 meters kind of buffer zone, right? And then they have this red, yellow, and green zone, and say that just in case if the drone has flown out of this area, the power will be cut off, for example, or it will return to the base automatically, and all these things, right? So checks and balance and regulations and technology, how to monitor all this. Like just now we talk about UTM, the unmanned traffic management, and even counter drone, right? If some drones go rogue, what are you gonna do? Should we shoot you down? Maybe this is really a last resort, but it has to be done. So there's always risk. Just I feel so far the risk is still manageable, because everything is kept under the box. And that's why when the box is open, when there are a lot of things flying around, it's all of us, is the regulator, is the industry player, is the operators, even the public themselves, to contribute to the safety and compliance of this ecosystem.
Okay, thank you again, Mr. Ray, for your kind response to our audience, and thank you so much for your time. Despite of your busy schedule, you share your time with us today. And also for our viewers, thank you for your passion and keep interest with our program today.
Yes.
It's always a pleasure for us for having our large number of viewers for our webinar, Captain of Industry, and we are so enjoy with all your questions. And without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Rafiq for closing remarks, if he available for now. Otherwise, I will close our session today. Okay, I guess he's not available. And then again, thank you, Mr. Ray, for having
You're
time with
welcome.
us. Enjoy your slides, enjoy your sharing today, and
Thank you.
of course with our viewers. And see you next time. Of course,
Okay.
I hope that we could see you in face to face rather than online. Okay.
Yes. That'll be more interesting, exciting. Hopefully next time I can show you a drone, or you can show me your drones.
All right.
Okay.
Sure. Keep
All right.
safe. Keep your
Thank
social
you.
distancing. Okay.
Yeah.
Take care and have a nice day, Mr. Ray. Again,
Thank you.
also
Thank
our
you very much.
viewers. Okay, please keep your social distancing. Stay safe and stay healthy. And don't forget to like, comment, and share our program. Have a good day. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. And bye.